My name is Lucy Jane Santos and I'm the author of Half-Lives, The Unlikely History of Radium, and I'm a historian of health, leisure and specifically beauty. And as such, one of the main questions I get is how would past generations feel about modern beauty standards today? And also specifically, what is there that we do today in the name of beauty that would shock our predecessors? My answer is, if we take our day-to-day beauty life, very little has changed actually in terms of technique and even in terms of devices. So if you took something like the eyelash curler, now you can walk into any pharmacy or salon today and buy an eyelash curler, and it has changed very little in terms of its design since the company Curlash introduced it around a century ago. Now in terms of cosmetics, well of course formulations have changed, but we're all familiar with the cycles of fashion as trends come and go. So not much has changed there either, I would say. So if it isn't the products themselves, what about the ingredients? What would past generations make of things like polydimesilicon, which is a type of silicon, or alpha hydroxide, which is a type of chemical peel, or ceramides, which are lipins, which actually fortify the skin's moisture barrier. These are just a few common ingredients that I have no idea what they are or what they do, but they certainly sound pretty good. But even without recognising the specific ingredients, past generations would definitely recognise the thinking behind it, because medical sounding terminology has been used to dupe consumers into feeling that they're buying into proven and safe science since the beauty industry first came into existence. Part of this story is that traditionally beauty was a kitchen physic, so it's situated in the practice of remedies that are compounded and distilled in the home. In the early modern period, domestic manuals are not only filled with instructions about best practices of how to run your house and take care of your family, but it also includes ingredients and recipes for beautification as well. So you'll see recipes for things that will soften the skin, prevent wrinkles or conceal impurities, and even occasionally you'll see how to discreetly, and discreetly is the key word, redden the lips or darken the eyebrows and lashes. These recipes would be put together by the individual, or if the family was wealthy, by a servant. Occasionally it would be made up by pharmacists who would use a standard formulation and sell these preparations through their house label and through the local area. Another alternative was beauty preparations that intersect with quack remedies. Now quack remedies have been in existence for hundreds of years, but the market was growing in popularity as the 18th century progressed. These styles of products were pre-packaged and widely available to the public. The ingredients were secret, so they weren't disclosed on the label, and the products were usually referred to by their brand name or their trademark. So you have health-giving products such as McMunn's Elixir of Opium that nestles on the shelves next to products that are specifically aimed at beautification. So two examples of these from the 19th century is Laird's Bloom of Youth, which was made with lead, or Dr. Campbell's Harmless arsenic complexion wafers. The makers of these remedies typically had very little medical training, or they were unorthodox. They operated outside of the mainstream regular medical profession. Like any industry, there are peaks and troughs of popularity, but also popularity of ingredients. So if you look through the marketing materials and advertisements of the time, you can see proliferations of products that are made with things like opium or lead or cocaine or arsenic. Significantly, there was very little protection for the public, and mistrust of these relatively mass-produced items increases. Also during the late 19th century, another type of manufacturer is growing across Europe and the United States, one which will form the basis of the beauty industry that we are still familiar with today. Now, these manufacturers' main challenge was to create a consumer base from people who were very rightfully deeply distrustful of commercially prepared preparations. To do did this, many manufacturers chose to use the rhetoric and visual cues of science, believing that through their advertisements, using the well-known objectivity and dispassion of scientists would be more convincing than a direct appeal from the manufacturers themselves. In the early 20th century, one of the most successful of these styles of manufacturers was Helena Rubinstein, the salon owner and entrepreneur. Now, Rubinstein always referred to herself as a cosmetic scientist or a beauty scientist, and in publicity photos she's often pictured wearing a white lab coat or a white blouse, so literally looking like a scientist, and she's usually surrounded by bottles and test tubes. Now, crucially, she also refers to the people who are coming to her salons as patients visiting her operating rooms. As we move into the 1920s, increasingly advertising uses terms such as innovation, discovery and advancement, and this is to enhance the association with modernity and the links between the new world of science and female emancipation. Scientific advancements were also used to legitimize its products through an association with medical breakthroughs. So X-rays were used almost as soon as they were discovered as a way of removing hair. Radium was marketed as a skin cell rejuvenator, a hair restorer and a slimming aid, amongst many other things. And even penicillin. Penicillin was suggested as a way of creating and selling the perfect germless kiss. No scientific advancement goes to waste in the beauty industry. Whilst the ingredients may now be different, the rhetoric of science still presents the ideal vehicle to exploit ideas around beauty and aging, as well as offering the continual innovations required to make this industry worth an estimated $500 billion in 2022.